What if your deepest pain isn't a punishment, but a portal? Can heartbreak become holy? Rumi's did, and the world has never stopped listening. He lost everything he loved and found everything he needed. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. What if the very pain you've been trying to numb, the heartbreak, the loss, the betrayal, was not the end of your story, but the beginning of something sacred? This is not just poetry. It's survival. It's transformation. Rumi, born Jalal al-Din, was once a respected scholar, a teacher, a jurist, revered by his students, admired by society, steeped in Islamic tradition and logic. But then came the earthquake, not of land but of love. His heart met Shams of Tabriz, a wandering mystic whose wild soul mirrored Rumi's hidden longing for the divine. Their connection was electric, cosmic, unbreakable, but not everyone understood. The closeness between them stirred jealousy, fear, and gossip. And then, Shams vanished. Some say he was murdered. Others say he left to protect Rumi. But what mattered was this: he was gone. Rumi broke. He wept. He wailed. He wandered the streets, crying out his friend's name. To the world, it looked like madness. But to the soul, it looked like awakening. Because something inside Rumi shattered wide open. And through that fracture, a new voice was born, not of intellect, but of spirit. He began to write, to sing, to spin. And from his heartbreak poured over 70,000 verses of poetry. The Rumi we know today, the mystic, the dancer, the river of words, was born in grief. Pain cracked him open. And through that crack, light poured in. So ask yourself, what if the thing that broke you isn't the end, but the beginning of your becoming? In the next chapter, we'll see how Rumi turned that grief into movement and created a sacred dance that still spins today. After losing Shams, Rumi did not retreat into silence forever. Instead, he moved not with steps of logic, but with the rhythm of longing. Part 2. The Dance of the Soul. Out of his grief, Rumi began to whirl. Not for applause, not for performance. He spun to remember. With each turn, he let sorrow become surrender. With arms stretched wide, one hand reaching toward the sky, the other pointed toward the earth, he became the bridge between the seen and the unseen. To the outside world, it looked like a strange kind of dance. But to Rumi, it was prayer, a sacred rotation around the axis of love. This was the birth of the whirling dervishes, not a spectacle, but a meditation in motion. He wrote, "Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open?" That wasn't metaphor. It was a call to awakening. Because the prison isn't always made of stone. Sometimes it's made of shame, of guilt, of stories that no longer serve us. And the spin, that simple turning, was his way of stepping out. Even in the grip of grief, his soul still sang, still moved, still reached for the light. Can you feel it? That quiet pull towards something bigger than the pain? Rumi reminds us, motion heals, devotion moves, stillness lives inside the spin. And in the next part of his journey, Rumi would remind us that even pain is a guest and deserves to be welcomed. After spinning toward the divine, Rumi turned inward into the house of the soul, where every emotion knocks, uninvited. Part 3. The Guest House. One of Rumi's most beloved poems is called The Guest House. He begins, "This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival." What if you imagined yourself as a house, and every feeling you experience is just a visitor at your door? Joy knocks politely. Sadness barges in. Anger breaks a window. Regret seeps in through the cracks. Most of us try to slam the door. We judge the guests. We pretend they're not there. But Rumi said, welcome them all. Open the door. Let them in. Prepare a space for each, even the ones that hurt. Because every emotion, even the difficult ones, comes bearing a message. Rumi didn't see feelings as flaws. He saw them as teachers. That ache in your chest, that anxiety in your stomach, that wave of shame, each is a letter sent to you from the universe asking you to pause, listen, understand. This being human is a guest house. He reminds us, not a fortress. You were never meant to keep it all out. This teaching isn't soft. It's not about toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. It's radical. It means facing what's hard, sitting with what's uncomfortable, holding the hand of sorrow until it shows you why it came. Can you do it? Can you welcome what hurts and trust it has something to say? In the next part of Rumi's journey, we'll walk into the fire and see how pain itself can polish the soul. After opening the door to every emotion, Rumi asked a deeper question. What if pain wasn't just something to survive, but something meant to shape us? Part 4. Fire makes gold. Rumi once wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." To him, struggle wasn't a curse. It was a kiln. Just as fire refines gold, burning away impurities, revealing brilliance, Rumi believed hardship was the fire that shaped the soul. He didn't avoid discomfort. He invited it. When Shams disappeared, he didn't numb the grief or distract himself. He listened. He sat with silence until it became sacred. And in that silence, something extraordinary happened. Wisdom surfaced. The poems we now quote, the verses that echo across time, were born in that fire. He didn't write them from comfort. He wrote them from the forge. Because he understood, the soul doesn't grow on easy days. It grows when everything familiar burns down and something truer rises from the ashes. What if your heartbreak isn't here to destroy you, but to melt away what no longer serves you? What if your anxiety, your fear, your chaos are all flames asking, who are you, really, when everything else falls away? Rumi reminds us, pain isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're being refined. So, will you trust the fire? In the next and final story, we'll follow Rumi beyond the surface of pain into the ocean of the soul, where all the waves return to something eternal. After letting the fire refine him, Rumi invites us to go deeper still into the waters beneath all emotion, all thought, all form. Part 5. The ocean beneath the waves. Rumi often spoke of the ocean, not the one with tides and salt, but the one inside us, the inner ocean, the vast, endless soul. He wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." On the surface, we feel waves, anxiety, trauma, fear, restlessness. We think we are the wave. We panic when it rises. We despair when it crashes. But Rumi says, you are not the wave. You are the ocean beneath it. You are not your heartbreak. You are not what they said about you. You are not even your own thoughts. Beneath the noise of the mind is a silence that remembers who you really are. Still, deep, timeless. Imagine your soul as water, clear, reflective, and no matter how many stones are thrown, the stillness always returns. Rumi's invitation is not to escape the wave, but to sink beneath it. To stop fighting your emotions and remember that you are something far vaster than any single moment of pain. The wave comes. The wave goes. But the ocean you remains. So the next time a thought crashes in like thunder, or fear threatens to drown you, ask yourself, am I the storm, or the sky it passes through? This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your remembering. And now, in our final reflection, we'll return to where we started the wound and discover how Rumi saw healing not as escape, but as return. Rumi didn't run from the wound. He didn't numb it. He didn't try to erase it. He let it speak. He listened to the ache. He turned toward the silence. He danced into the center of his grief, and from that center, something eternal began to sing. This is why his words endure. Because they weren't crafted to impress. They were born to heal. His poetry is not just language. It is a lantern. It lights the dark corners of the human heart. So if something in this story stirred your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message. Someone in your life may be silently searching for the light you just found. Leave a comment below. What part of your pain are you learning to honor? Subscribe to Mindful Way Television, ***, where the quietest truths often speak the loudest. Because maybe your greatest heartbreak isn't here to ruin you. Maybe it's here to rebuild you. And maybe, just maybe, the wound was never the enemy. It was the invitation. The doorway, the return. Welcome back.